I have just taken a sample of job offers on the net for Lean Thinking and Six Sigma. It shows that 2/3 of the 30,000 global vacancies last month were posted for Six Sigma and 1/3 for Lean experts. Of course, this snapshot does not mean that one of the approaches is superior and that your company should decide for Six Sigma and against Lean Thinking. It merely shows that companies currently have different needs, and these needs may have arisen from a comparison of the two approaches. Although both Lean Thinking and Six Sigma focus on customer satisfaction and cost reduction, there are differences in their properties. The following comparison of Six Sigma with Lean Thinking is based on their properties: assumption, objective and potentials, focus, approach, principles, methods and tools, character, and advantages, disadvantages. I tried to contrast both approaches, although their boundaries are blurred. Let's start with the basic underlying assumptions. Six Sigma starts with Schwartz's finding that unwanted variation of properties of the input and process leads to variation of properties of the output. This unwanted variation in the input and the process needs to be reduced to improve the output. The quest for efficiency led to maximal plant utilization, push principle, and waste, and thus led to a discontinuous value stream. Deming and Ishikawa recognized that problems are opportunities for improvement and that not the management but the employees are the experts to solve problems in their processes. The objectives of Lean Thinking and Six Sigma are internally related to the company and externally to the customer. Six Sigma aims to reduce costs of the company by elimination of defects, time delays, and consumption of inputs and resources of selected products and services, and to increase customer satisfaction by identification and fulfillment of important customer requirements on these products and services. The potentials of Six Sigma can be calculated from unfulfilled customer requirements and cost drivers of important products and services. Lean Thinking aims to reduce costs of the company by efficient, stable, harmonized, and standardized processes and to increase customer satisfaction by the achievement of promised quality and availability of the products and services. In Lean Thinking, the potentials also arise from unfulfilled customer requirements and cycle times, from costs of stocks, inventories, and waste. The focus of Six Sigma is on the one hand on the entire organization, as Six Sigma is often implemented as a company-wide program for the improvement of important products and services. The main work, on the other hand, is carried out in temporary project teams that solve the identified problems. Lean Thinking also focuses the entire organization and aims to optimize the value chain of all processes in production, administration, service, and so on. Many progresses are realized in the natural working units, where ZIP teams, as part of the working units, continuously improve the processes in regular meetings. The approaches of Six Sigma and Lean Thinking show differences in the roles and tasks. In Six Sigma, the employees, the management, and customer continuously identify problems in the products and services. Task of the management is to periodically prioritize and select appropriate problems for Six Sigma projects. Temporary project teams, led by green and black belts, solve the selected problems. In Lean Thinking, the management is responsible to identify appropriate methods for the company. Experts then implement and adapt these methods, and employees in ZIP teams continuously eliminate waste and standardize their process. The principles of Six Sigma are to identify, collect, prioritize, and select suitable problems for projects, then to assign and, if necessary, qualify green or black belts as project leaders. Assign the subject matter experts for the project team and the sponsor for each selected project. Then the project is implemented and its financial benefit calculated. Lean Thinking first identifies and prioritizes customer requirements, which determines the value, then identifies and optimizes the value stream, as a chain of value-adding process steps. The just-in-time rule is implemented by realizing the pull principle and the order-related orientation of all activities. SIP teams are established for the continuous improvement of their processes. Six Sigma is characterized by its scientific methodology. The DMAIC is a generic problem-solving approach with, for example, rational analysis of customer requirements and the root cause analysis. The focus is on statistical tests of hypotheses on relationships and differences. The optimization of specific parameters, for example of machines, is realized by the design of experiments. Process planning is supported by process simulation and the design for Six Sigma method. Lean thinking uses pragmatic methods and sets of recommended actions for a wide range of application for the management, for the production, for service and administration. Methods and tools for the management are, for example, the key performance indicator system, policy deployment, visual management, simultaneous engineering, decentral end-to-end process responsibility, improvement teams, incentives, and salary system. Improvement of production, service and administration are based on the value stream analysis and design, one-piece flow, Kanban, overall equipment effectiveness, single-minute exchange of die, total productive maintenance, 5S, the elimination of waste, and the standardization of methods. One can exaggeratedly say that Six Sigma has the character of a medical therapy. The illness of a person, as a specific deviation from the normal state, in the example a deviation in quality indicators of the output, becomes the starting point of the diagnosis of the influences and their root causes, which leads to specific treatments of the involved organs and physiological processes. Lean thinking is more like a fitness program. All the organs and physiological processes that are important for certain required body functions are continuously strengthened, and all influences that could weaken the body are eliminated. As a result, the output shows improvements in its indicators of quality, availability, and consumption. Thus, the direction and the purpose of both approaches differ. In lean thinking, from the elimination of waste in the processes to the improved outputs, and in Six Sigma, from the identification of a certain problem in the output to its specific root causes in the process. This perspective polarizes the two approaches more than perhaps adequate, and the same applies to the last comparison of their advantages and disadvantages. The advantages of Six Sigma are, for example, that the financial benefits of projects can be calculated very easily in many cases, and that the root causes of even complex problems can be identified. However, it can be criticized that projects sometimes only optimize certain parts of processes without considering the overall context. And the projects overall only involve a small portion of the employees, so that their capabilities for improvement remain untapped. In contrast, lean thinking involves a large part of the employees. The introduction of lean thinking, however, often contradicts the habits of these employees, so that a cultural change of the company becomes necessary. The methods allow an integrated optimization of all company divisions. Decisions are, however, often based on perceptions rather than on data. Although both lean thinking and Six Sigma focus on customer satisfaction and cost reduction, there are differences in their properties. However, in recent years, Six Sigma has been combined with lean thinking, leading to Lean Six Sigma. On the other hand, Six Sigma can meaningfully complement any company's lean thinking system. The implementation and sustainable maintenance of Six Sigma and lean thinking in a company encounters a variety of resistances, requires a lot of effort, and their benefits are only gradually becoming apparent. Persistence of the management is one success factor. And at a congress in Amsterdam, Jack Welch answered the question of how he managed to make Six Sigma so successful at General Electric by saying, "You have to reward it." The successful implementation, however, offers an advantage that cannot be easily copied by competitors. Each company has to find its own way to do this.